Good Saturday morning. I've been running into a problem recently where the videos I've been producing I have not felt are good enough quality. And I have let perfection get in the way of putting something out. So I went back, deleted all my old videos, made a compromise with myself that I would go ahead and today push something out very quickly just so we can get back on track and having one of these weekly videos going out. And then combined with all the other activities I've been having around the house between my daughter's birthday and company visiting, I think I can get back on track faster that way and also be providing some interesting content for everyone out there. So the first big thing I've been working on is my server. So I have some machines at home which I keep up to date and doing different things. One of the big troubles you run into, both on a personal level and on an enterprise level, is trying to maintain documentation, what the configuration looks like, and what that kind of network looks like. As you start going through these things, I always have the problem of keeping up documentation and all those different things, especially as I start tweaking things to make something work or something do exactly what I want. The problem is I get so far behind in the documentation and we're so far away from that clean slate, not really sure what it actually looks like anymore. And it's kind of very difficult to go out back and find that. And I think this is a bigger problem as soon as you start, putting in more servers, start running at an enterprise level, have many more people doing it. So how do we go about solving that? So my thought, as I go back into some of the deep learning things I was wanting to play around with, rebuild the server, right? I think Netflix does a really good job of this, where they talk about between a server being a pet or cattle, where a pet is something you always keep, you take good care of, and all those different things. You're willing to do all these different things for it. Whereas a cow or cattle, you're just ready to, okay, we've reached the purpose of that. We're going to kill it and rebuild it, right? Or get another one. I'm trying to take that second step. So it has been very difficult to delete the pet and reformat the pet and move it over to something that can easily be redone very quickly. In that regard, this is how Docker and things along the lines with like containers are very, very, very useful, especially as you're doing development and things along those lines. And I've really been trying to better understand this. One is I want something that is very repeatable so that I could easily migrate it from my server to a newer version of my server to perhaps AWS, to Google Cloud, to Azure, all those different things. So it all starts off with having a Docker container for me, and that's the one I'm trying to use. There's other container type things. And so I've redone that so that I can do this in fast AI and have that working very well for me. And so far, I'm very pleased with how it got. It took a little bit longer because I was upgrading to Ubuntu 18. There's not as much documentation for that. I lost some of my capabilities. I also forgot there's lots of files that I really liked on my old server. And then it's also strange because you have a container, there's still the temporary stuff you want to do and kill and redo. And there's also some permanent stuff you want to keep. So when I'm tearing down and pulling up a container, it kind of rebuilds it all from a file. I want to be able to have my notebook, my Jupyter notebook, or my notes to rerun through every single time. And so being able to do that is extremely important to me. And getting that all set up has been a challenge, but very educational, and then humbling, very humbling, as you go back and fix all these dependencies that you were worried about and trying to get back up to speed. So I'm at that point now, which has been very good. The other really important thing that is worth talking about is how I'm adapting to remote work. Whereas before in the Navy, everywhere I was right there working with people, right? And there's close proximity. And there's lots of these good things because I quickly understand, hey, who am I talking to? Where do they fit in the position? What's the body language they're providing back to me? Very easy to see. As a full-time remote worker, that is much more difficult because I can't read the body language. I can't easily just drop in on someone. I am, or overhear conversations along those lines. So I lose out on that collaborative work environment. The other big thing that has been happening, especially in our department, is that there's been this push to show transparency for work and show how work is being done, especially when you have unplanned work and those different things. And that's probably a discussion in of itself. So I'll leave that there. But what they do is they have your good old fashioned Kanban boards or your Agile where you're putting sticky notes everywhere. Right? And as you put these sticky notes everywhere, you can easily walk by and say, hey, this person is working on this. I understand how much workload they have and those different things. And maybe go like, oh, this is really interesting. I want to get in on that. As a remote worker, I don't have that really easy tactile sticky note thing. So I've been trying to figure out how to do that better. I've been playing around with Jira and how to kind of move some workflows across that way. It's very difficult. It's very much like the documentation on my server. Ideally, at the beginning, it's really good, but as I continue through it, it slows down a little bit as it becomes more tedious and difficult. So I need to figure out some kind of balance for that, and also to make it so whereas I would walk by a Kanban board in a building, no one's walking through my house, I hope, and how do we make that extremely visible? And it'll be very interesting to see how to do that, so I can give that feedback to peers, or peers can see some of the things in case they say, oh yes, this is really cool, and by the way, I thought of this, and provide additional feedback to that. So I'm playing around with that. I think the best way right now is I'm drafting up some like an email template to send out. Hate emails because we're already overstocking in all the emails, but I think that might be the best way to go. That's what I've heard some other companies do, especially the ones that do a lot of remote work. So that's all I have for right now. I have to go run and do all my errands, but have a great day and enjoy your weekend.